In this lesson, we'll learn how to export our InDesign project as an interactive PDF. Alright, so in the previous lessons, we've really spent time focusing on exploring the interactive features that pertain to PDFs. Now, at this point, we're ready to go ahead and export our interactive file. So let's jump up here to the File dropdown. We'll go to Export. We could always hit Control-E. And let's go ahead and name this one. I'm just going to call this one 11_example. And this is really, really important. You definitely want to make sure and remember this. You want to change the Save As Type from Adobe PDF Print. You want to change that over to Adobe PDF Interactive. If you don't do that, then the interactive components in your layout will actually get stripped out of your PDF. So let's go ahead and hit Save here. And we're going to get this Export to Interactive PDF option box here. Now we'll just really quickly run over all these options here. So you can see that we can export either all the pages in our PDF or a specific page range. The option to view after exporting, you can see I have that checked. That'll simply open up the PDF in our default PDF reader, the application for that. We can choose to embed page thumbnails. Now this will increase the size of your PDF just a little bit, but it will allow programs like InDesign to actually see that thumbnail when you're browsing files. So the next option here is to create Acrobat layers. Now what this is going to do is actually create a layer structure that mimics the layer structure we have here in InDesign, so that that can be accessed from Acrobat Professional. Now I'm going to leave that unchecked. Now the next option is to create a tagged PDF. Now what this does is it's going to automatically tag elements in our file, such as text frames, tables, and images, so that when they come over into your PDF reader or Acrobat Professional, those tags can be worked with. Now we haven't really touched on tags in this course, and we probably really won't, but some things you can do when you export or create tags at export is you can map the styles in your document to the tags, which will allow the document to be reflowed. And you can even add alternative text to the tags for maybe the visually disabled who use screen readers and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that one unchecked for right now. The next two options here are for view and layout. This just pertains to the view that it actually comes up when the PDF is previewed. You can see here that we have it set to default, but we can set to fit to page, or we can set a percentage here, whichever one of these options we want. And the layout is going to be the actual layout of the PDF when it's opened. So this document is set up in single pages. If we wanted it to be displayed in 2 pages facing each other, we could select one of these 2 up options down here. I'm going to go ahead and leave that set to default as well. Now, next option here is for presentation purposes. If we're going to be opening up our PDF and we want it to open in full screen mode, so maybe say our page transitions can be viewed, then we want to check this box right here. Now, speaking of page transitions, the next option down is for page transitions. But before we touch on that, let me check the presentation mode. One option that was grayed out previously was this flip pages every so many seconds, which we can actually set here by checking that and changing the time. So I'll disable those 2 here. And when it comes to page transitions, if you've built page transitions into your interactive file here, you want to drop this down and choose the From Document option here. Otherwise, you could say none, and those page transitions would be discarded. Now, you also see here that we could override any kind of page transitions that were created in our document by selecting one from this list here. Or if we hadn't previously applied any, we could apply one right here. We'll just say blinds. Notice we do not have the options available to us in the page transitions panel though. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that on From Document here. Below that, you see options for buttons and media. We can either opt to include all of our buttons and media, or just include the appearance only. If we want this PDF to maintain its interactivity, then we need to make sure and include all of those here. The next few options are for image handling, how the compression is handled, image quality. Now you can see here for compression we can choose either a lossy or lossless form of compression, or we can say automatic and let InDesign determine which is used for each graphic in our file. We can select image quality. Right now mine's set to medium. You see the other options here. And we can even select resolution as far as the images go, the raster images. We can leave that at 72 ppi for right now. And let's go ahead and click on this security button here. So here we can actually specify security settings for our PDF file. Maybe we want our PDF to only be viewed by a select number of people who have a password for it. Then we can specify this document open password right here. And you can see we can actually type that in. Now we can also apply permissions from this dialog as well. So we can use a password to restrict things like printing, editing, and other tasks. And we can really even get pretty granular here when it comes to what we can allow and what we can disallow as far as this file goes. As far as printing options, you can see here that we can only allow it to be printed at, say, a low resolution if we wanted to. Or we can, as far as changes to the document, there's several different options here regarding changes that we can restrict. So if we opt to, we could even enable the copying of text and images or disable that with this checkbox. And then, of course, the enable plain text metadata right there as well. So let's go ahead and cancel this out. I'm not going to actually apply a password to this because I do want to export this out so that you can open this file if you want to. So we'll go ahead and export this. I'll just go ahead and hit OK here. Actually, let's choose the option to not view after exporting. This PDF, after all, will be no different than the one we looked at in the previous lesson. So once we hit OK, you can see that InDesign goes through the process of exporting our PDF. Now, obviously, depending on the size of your document, this may take a little bit of time. You can see that with 10 pages and the amount of graphics and information that I have in these pages, it is taking just a little bit of time for InDesign to create our final PDF. So I'll go ahead and let this finish. In the next lesson, we're actually going to pick up where we leave off here, and we're going to shift our attention to Flash output, and we're going to begin looking at some interactive features that were not available for PDFs but are for Flash.